Patrick is the founder and director of Greek Physique. Greek Physique, kind of like my body. LLC. He's a certified personal trainer through the National Association of Fitness Certification and a featured columnist with a Tennessee Star. Greek Physique LLC offers personal training and consultation for men, women, and women in Middle Tennessee. He also does this worldwide by Skype, FaceTime, Facebook Messenger, and phone. Here is Patrick Rooney.
I just want to get to a few things. The main thing I want to talk to you guys about is how men should eat and train. Okay? So when I say train, I'm using the word train for a reason. You can talk about exercise, but exercise is walking around the block. Training is like doing something with a particular purpose, and you have something that you're going to get on the other side. So training has to be kind of thought out a little bit. Over the years, I was always interested in training, but I got hurt a lot being dumb. So I had a ton of injuries, a string of injuries, and that's kind of what I learned from. I also had a couple surgeries. I had a collapsed lung that happened twice. I had 2 surgeries here. The doctors really know their stuff. They do a great job on the surgery, but they didn't give me any physical training after that. They just any physical therapy. I wanted to live my life fully. I didn't want to live like an invalid, and I don't want to just say, okay, I got injuries, that's the end of my life. So I found ways to kind of overcome that. And that's kind of why I got into Greek Physique. You know, there's so many people will tell you what to eat. Don't do this, don't do that, and it gets very, very confusing. So I'll just say a few things, especially as men get older, these things tend to apply. You need to have a certain amount of protein, okay? Especially as you get older. As you age, men need more protein in the body. When you have protein, it makes the metabolism work better, it keeps the fat off. You'll kind of notice at a certain level, your protein intake all of a sudden starts to equal better metabolism, less fat. It just does at a certain point. How much that is, you can get into, we can talk about that, but some people go way, I think, overboard with protein as well. So there's kind of like a zone that you want to hit. You want to eat lean proteins, and the simple way to say this is basically you need to eat lean proteins and fibrous veggies a lot. I'm kind of oversimplifying to make a point here, but when I'm working with clients, I really want them to get somewhere. I kind of give them, you've got to kind of lean into this thing and do this thing a certain way. So you want to eat lean proteins, you want to eat fibrous stuff. When you think of carbs, you're thinking of fibers. You're not thinking of starch. You got your starchy carbs and you got your fibrous carbs. And kind of the easy way to think about it is eat fiber but don't eat starch. Okay? I like to just keep things really, really basic so people understand it. Also, fats. You have to eat fat. Okay? Fat produces testosterone. It's one of the things it does. It's not the only thing that does, but it produces testosterone. Men need testosterone. So I think that we've been a little bit of guilty of listening to a lot of people who either don't know what they're talking about, or quite frankly, I think some of them don't even want men to act like men. So it's in their best interest to have you eat like a woman. If you eat like a woman, you will act like a woman. And when you're not eating meats and things like that and fats, you won't have any energy. You won't have, men are kind of, we're kind of known by like our certain amount of aggressiveness. And if you eat a certain way, you're gonna eat tofu, you're gonna have beans. And there's a certain amount of people, unfortunately, that want you that way. And that's very scary. So yes, you do need to eat a certain amount of fat. Now, you eat too much fat, you will get fat. Just like anything else if you eat too much. You eat too much protein, you will get fat. Anything will make you fat if you overdo it. So there's kind of like a certain amount to it. Water. Yes, some people don't like to drink water. I understand that. I'm not really huge on loving to drink water that much myself. But if you want to lose weight and you want to get your lean muscle mass up, you do want to drink a certain amount of water, because the thing is, you spent years of your life gathering junk, and water is a solvent, and the solvent lets that stuff go. So you have to think that way. If you don't, you're going to have like a toxic waste dump inside your body, and it's not going to go anywhere. So you do have to do that kind of stuff. Sugar, like I mentioned, is very, very big thing. A lot of people are really messed up, and they have all sorts of syndromes going on because their body has been too attached to sugar. I grew up eating sugar all the time. That's what my mother had over the refrigerator every day. Okay, she had a Tupperware, the old Tupperware, and she had goodies in the Tupperware thing. Every single day I come home from school. Myself and my brothers, we grew up like that. That's the way we ate every single day. So we were conditioned like that. And now they're in a certain situation too, where they have these conditions brought on by eating that kind of stuff day after day. So you kind of, I don't even eat that much sugar now, and I love sugar. I could eat sugar any time of the day. One good thing about it is when you react bad to things in your body, that's actually a good thing. I personally react bad to certain things. If I have too much sugar, I start breaking out in my skin. I found that that's a good thing because it warns me. I was eating too much last night. I love the sugar. I started, my skin freaked out. So it's like, oh, okay, you can't do that. But I drink water after that, a lot of water, and I flush the sugar out. So that's the kind of like my thing on eating. I want to get into training a little bit and what men should be thinking about in terms of training, especially as you get older. There's a certain point, I have a lot of clients who are older. They start, men, well, even women as well, people start breaking down at surprisingly pretty early ages. I have people that are hitting 30 that are starting to break down. And you really start breaking down once you start going 40, 50, 60. If you don't take care of yourself, you will end up being in a position where you have to have somebody carry you around pretty much, and you're going to go into an old folks home because you don't have any, you're losing things. And then once you lose your balance, you start falling and cracking hips and all this stuff, and you're done. And once you go down into a bed or something like that, you ain't coming back, generally. I found that in my own personal life, people that I know close to me, once they went horizontal, they didn't go vertical again. So it's just the way it is. So health becomes, the thing is we all want to be healthy and we all want to look good and everything. Every one of us wants to look good. But at a certain level, it becomes a thing to save your life. It really gets very, very serious like that. One of the main reasons you train is it has nothing to do with muscle at all. It has to do with your central nervous system. You're building up a central nervous system. And one of the great ways to do that is you do, I don't know if you guys have heard of compound exercises and things like that. In the old days, the strongmen used to use barbells and things like that. Very simple devices. Well, that's making a comeback now. And so one of the reasons barbells are so good is that they allow you to work on many parts of your body at one time. So you could do, you could grab a weight off the floor and you're picking it up, you're using down here, you're picking it up here, you're pressing it, you're using your whole body. And you're building up your central nervous system primarily. Now, of course, the muscles and everything get an advantage to that, but you're building up your central nervous system. So compound exercises are great for building up the central nervous system, and they also build the body very well. One thing that you can do, especially as you get older, when you're young, you want to do the beach muscle thing, and you want to have a million exercises. You got all these repetitions, and you got all these different exercises, and you want to hit the body at every single angle and hit everything. Yeah, you can do that. But when you get older, you kind of like learn more essential things, and you learn to do a few things very, very well, and you can pick a few exercises that kind of hit everything. You could work the whole body with 6 or much less exercises in a way if you want to. So you don't have to do all that stuff. Plus, the thing about getting older is you have to have time. You have to have time to get your recuperation back. The muscles do not grow when you're doing like this. They grow when you're off. When you're off is when the muscles grow. So you have to have recuperation time. As you get older, it becomes more and more important. So you might used to work out 5 days a week, 6 days a week. You start trying the same stuff you did when you get older. When you were younger, you'll get hurt and you'll get all these aching injuries, and they'll never recover. So you have to kind of be smart as you get older, otherwise you will fail in the fitness game. And you need to keep a log. You need to do some very simple things like just keeping a log of what you're doing. Most people think they remember what they do. Just keep a log of it. Keep a simple log of what you're up to and write it down, and then go back and look at it as you need to do it. So that's kind of the nitty-gritty on that. I do have a Skype business. Well, I train people near Nashville, Tennessee. And in Nashville and all that surrounding area there. So I work with a lot of people there, and then I also work with people, as Jesse said, around the country on Skype and different ways that we can do that. And that's really nice, and it's really great to work with people who can, especially people that get it, that want to get better. I have clients that are just there just to pass the time, and they're hard to work with. But people that really want to do something, it's really, really great to work with. So I have one of my clients here, Brian. I work with Jesse and Brian, people like this. These guys are animals. I mean, they're serious. When I talk about training, they're not walking in the park. These guys are serious trainers. And it's really humbling to be able to work with them and know that they know a ton of stuff. But one thing that it's nice to be able to do is you can see somebody doing something, and the ability to pick out a few things, like a few key things, find out where the holes are in someone's game. And if you can help them kind of plug up those few holes, they just take off and do well.
He wasn't able to help my eyes. So I have to wear glasses. Due to a real estate project I was involved in, it burned up all my time. All I had time was to work on this real estate project, go to work, and sleep. And consequently, I gained about 10 pounds. Nothing to panic over, but it was there, and I made note of it. And shortly after we finished the project, I says, I got to take a vacation. I'm going to go on vacation. My wife knows Pat's wife. My son is friends with Pat's son. When we stayed there, we stayed at a hotel not too far from his house. Nice hotel. And the thing was, they had free unlimited breakfast and free unlimited dinner. And these guys had it wasn't like a continental breakfast, where you get a cup of coffee and a bagel. It was full spread, everything you want: sausage, bacon, eggs, waffles, pancakes. It was like totally legit. And for dinner, it was like Mexican food night, Italian food night, American pizza, everything. And we basically engorged ourselves for about 4 days. I got that much money out of whatever we were paying for to stay there, we fed our family with. But consequently, I gained another 10 pounds in about 4 days, literally, and I'm not kidding. And when I got home, I was about 20 pounds overweight. Now it's time to panic. And it dawned on me when I got home, maybe I should try Pat. Maybe I should try Greek Physique. So I called Pat. We had a phone consultation, and I agreed to go on a 12-week transformation program via Skype. The beautiful thing about Skype is if a picture says 1,000 words, then Skype says 1 billion words, because he can see you. He can see your progress. He can demonstrate movements and exercises. And you can do, and see if you get it, So it really was a really great way to communicate with a personal trainer from, I'm 2,000 miles away from him. In 12 weeks, I lost that 20 pounds. I lost it, and more important to me was I was able to maintain the strength that I had and actually get stronger, being 20 pounds lighter. I started out almost at 20% body fat. And by the time I was done, this is less than 3 months. This is like 84 days. I went from 20% body fat to being within 10% body fat. The amazing thing about those numbers is when you pencil it out and do the calculations, almost all the weight I lost was body fat. I was able to retain the muscle I started out with 20 pounds earlier. And it was my birthday yesterday. I just turned 60 years old. And some people say being 60 gives you a license to kick back. It gives you, go ahead, put on a few pounds, buy a Barker Lounger, but I say no. I say never give up. We're supposed to be fighters. We're never supposed to stop fighting. We're never supposed to back down. And I say as a man, we have an obligation to be that way, to ourselves and to the ones we love. We need to be mentally strong, spiritually strong, and physically strong. And I don't know any other way of living. And I really appreciate Pat for all he's done for me in this very condensed period of time. As a matter of fact, I plan to re-enlist with him to gain back some of the weight I lost. But this time it's going to be, what I gain back is going to be pure muscle tissue and no fat. And I'm 60 years old right now, and I can honestly say I feel like I'm in the best shape of my entire life. But thanks a lot, Pat.
Thank you, man.
Patrick is the founder and director of Physique. Physique, kind of like my body. LLC. He's a certified personal trainer through the National Association of Fitness Certification and a featured columnist with a Tennessee Star. Physique LLC offers personal training and consultation.
So I had a ton of injuries, a string of injuries, and that's kind of what I learned from. I also had a couple surgeries. I had a collapsed lung that happened twice. I had 2 surgeries here. The doctors really know their stuff. They do a great job on the surgery, but they didn't give me any physical training after that. They just, any physical therapy. I wanted to live my life fully.
For men, women, and women in Middle Tennessee. He also does this worldwide by Skype, FaceTime, Facebook Messenger, and phone. Here is Patrick Rooney.
I just want to get to a few things. The main thing I want to talk to you guys about is how men should eat and train. I didn't want to live like an invalid, and I don't want to just say, okay, I got injuries, that's the end of my life. So I found ways to kind of overcome that, and that's kind of why I got into Great Physique. You know, there's so many people will tell you what to eat, don't do this, don't do that, and it gets very, very confusing. So I'll just say a few things, especially as men get older, these things tend to apply. You need, okay? So when I say train, I'm using the word train for a reason. You can talk about exercise, but exercise is walking around the block. Training is like doing something with a particular purpose, and you know, you have something that you're going to get on the other side. So training has to be kind of thought out a little bit. Over the years, I was always interested in training, but I got hurt a lot being dumb.